Hello. Welcome to Con Zero. This is Mike. I am the host. It is November the 10th. And boy, has it been a day. So, anyways, we're following a couple of things today. And I'm just going to basically touch on the Rittenhouse trial because I know everybody's talking about it, but if you're not talking about it, it's amazing. The things that happened today in that trial, the things that have been happening in that trial have been a mess. I mean, when you start looking at like the mayor and one of the prosecutors and like a city manager or somebody else, they're all related in the case. And basically the prosecution's witnesses have been making the defense's case the entire week. It's been astounding to watch. I don't really even know. It's like watching the short bus version of Law and Order, if that makes any sense to people. And I'm not talking about Law and Order like Special Victims Unit. I'm talking about like the OG Law and Order, the real good one, especially the seasons with Lenny Briscoe and when Michael Moriarty was the prosecutor in the very beginning. I think like the first 5 seasons or something like that. That was a great show, but this was a shit show. But what we're basically going to cover is today, it's something that astounded me too as soon as I heard it. I mean, I'm no legal scholar, but I do know my basic rights. And this prosecutor basically, if you're not aware of it, tries to argue that it was inappropriate for Rittenhouse to exercise his right to remain silent after he was arrested, which is the very first line in your Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent, because the following lines explain it all, because anything you do or say is going to be used against you in a court of law. And this guy challenged it. He was like, well, that's suspicious. Why would he do that? Well, because it's his fucking right to. Oh, my God. But this judge we're going to watch a video here. And it's a little bit lengthy, but it is worth the watch. I think it's about 11 minutes long. It's totally worth the watch. And I'm not going to interrupt too much on it, but I'm going to make a couple of observations, and that's it. The video speaks for itself. I really don't need to speak too much for it. The incredibly questionable behavior of the prosecution, and you like having a lot of like dumb arrogance, where like people are so dumb that they're arrogant and they don't realize that they're arrogant because they're dumb, that's like really on display here, and he pissed this judge off. So we're picking up the video here. The jury has just been excused from the room. Now, the audio on it is quiet at first, just for the first couple of seconds, and it picks up. So I'll do my best to get it boosted for you guys so you can hear it. But basically, the person that's standing at the podium speaking is the prosecuting attorney. Okay? He's trying to make a case. During this exchange, he's trying to make a case that Kyle Rittenhouse, 15 days prior, unarmed, in a different part of town or a different place altogether, saw some looting or shoplifting going on, and he made like a joking comment about, I'd shoot him or something like that, whatever. And he's trying to introduce this as evidence of a prior bad act that never happened, right? He's trying to establish like the frame of mind and stuff like that of Rittenhouse. Basically, he's trying to paint Rittenhouse as somebody who's just really planning ahead with a desire to actually shoot somebody and kill them. He's trying to establish that that these events didn't happen instantaneously and evolve naturally as they did, as we all saw. Anybody that's got, I don't know what that whistle was. The whistle came from my nose. What the hell? I don't know if you guys heard it or not. Sorry. Everybody that's watched this from the beginning, that watched the footage unfold, that watched everything happen in real time, everybody knows that Kyle Rittenhouse acted in complete self-defense. In fact, I think he used an incredible amount of restraint. He had a full magazine. Each person that he popped with one round. He could have panicked and panic fired on the crowd. When you're on the ground and you're in the fray, it's not like watching it happen through a camera, okay? It's insane and chaotic. And he used an incredible amount of judgment. He used an incredible amount of control and an incredible amount of self-restraint, in my opinion. Okay? I don't think that anybody that's ever handled firearms on a large-scale basis would ever disagree with that. Okay? You can get into the minutia of whether he should have been there or not. That's a different argument. I'm talking about as the events unfolded, watching them unfold, we see organically what happened. And that's what the judge actually argues here in this argument. He says, no, you can see these all happened over a series of seconds. So here we go. We're going to take a look at the video real quick. And I got to tell you what, this judge, he is not putting up with it. He's just not putting up with the bull crap from the prosecutor. And he gets very angry at him. And it's very important that he does. And listen to how he bounces back at the prosecutor.
Court's rulings.
The man speaking is the defense attorney for Rittenhouse.
Trial in this matter. He knows he can't go into this, and he's asking the questions. I asked the court to strongly admonish him, and the next time it happens, I'll be asking for a mistrial with prejudice. He's an experienced attorney, and he knows better.
Mr. Finger?
First of all, Your Honor, this was the subject of a motion. I'm well aware of that, and the court left the door open.
For me, not for you.
Pissed him off right away.
My understanding of
you should have come and asked for reconsideration. You did on the one motion, and in fact, I granted your motion for reconsideration.
That was not our motion.
Excuse me. I did. I granted.
We did not move
that
for reconsideration.
That was their motion.
We have not filed any motions to reconsider in this case.
That was their motion for reconsideration, which I denied. But I said I denied it, or I indicated a bias towards denial is what I did. Held it open with a bias towards denial. Why would you think that that made it okay for you, without any advance notice, to bring this matter before the jury? I was astonished when you began your examination by commenting on the defendant's post-arrest silence. That's basic law. It's been basic law in this country for 40 years, 50 years. I have no idea why you would do something like that. And it gives, I'll leave it at that.
What he said, and that's the crux of why he's really pissed, because you can see that's what fires him up, is he's denying the defendant's right to stay silent after arrest. And you can see that is what fired him up. The other exchange here that goes back and forth a little bit, and you're going to see him. He rips back into him again. What he's in disbelief about is, Miranda rights are Miranda rights. The very first line, and he's blown away by it. And this lawyer is a very, very experienced attorney. He's a very experienced prosecutor. He knows better. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to poison the jury. He's trying to poison the jury. Because he knows he doesn't have a case, because every witness that he brought up to make his case made the defense's case. The defense basically, they rolled today, but they could have just been like, hey, listen, we rest. The case already been made by the prosecution. Thanks.
Oh, I don't know what you're up to.
May I respond?
Yes.
We filed an other acts motion on this exact issue because, in my mind, and I argued this, it is identical to what was going on the night of August 25th, in the sense that the defendant was using this exact same weapon. He was using it in a manner to try and protect property.
No, he wasn't.
Your Honor, with all due respect,
I'm not going to rehash the motion. That's absolutely untrue. No. Your argument's of record. My comments are of record, and why I ruled as I did is of record. There's nothing that I heard in this trial to suggest anything's changed. Even if you're correct in your assumption that you know more than I did at the time, you should have come to the court and say, I want to go into this. Why you would think that you could go into it without any advance notice to the court, I don't understand that. And as the defense is pointing out, you're an experienced trial lawyer, and this should not have been gone into.
Your Honor, there have been things in this case, testimony in this case, that I believe opens the door to this. For example, the defense has introduced evidence that the defendant pointed a gun at a man wearing yellow pants because that person was on a car on the car source lot. Now, there's no justification that I can think of why the defendant would point that gun at someone. The defendant has just testified this morning that he agreed with that person in the yellow pants, that he pointed the gun at him. He said, I was joking when I said that to the guy in the yellow pants, but he said, he's acknowledged that he told the person in the yellow pants, yeah, you're right. I did point a gun at you when you were sitting on a car.
He said, I did. That's what he
Exactly.
testified.
So he's agreeing. May I finish, please? I'd like to have a chance to make a record if I could, without being interrupted, if that's okay. He has mentioned that he's acknowledged that he's used this gun to protect property. He's also just acknowledged that he knows he can't do that. I am attempting to impeach him now with the prior August 10th incident,
My
15
pants are
days
too
prior,
tight.
involving the same gun, where he is threatening to use that gun to protect property. It
He
goes.
didn't have the gun with him.
Exactly. That's the point.
He is saying he wished he did so he could shoot people.
You know, there's a lot of difference between.
Okay. So he made a hyperbolic statement at one point where he said that he'd shoot somebody. So we've all done it. Everybody's done it. If you haven't said that you were going to be specific and shoot somebody, you've said something like, oh, I just wanted to kill them. I just wanted to kill her. I wanted to kill him. You know, oh, my kids, I wanted to just kill them. Nobody thinks that you're going to be Susan What's-Her-Face there and pack them in your van and, take a trip down the boat ramp with your kids in the car. Because you said that you wanted to kill your kids. You know, hyperbolic statements happen all the time. Are we really going to examine everybody's past hyperbolic statements and then enter them into evidence just in case, by the slim chance margin that they're in a situation where they have to defend themselves from what they might have said at one point in time for your life? This kid's young. Think about if I ever had to go to court and defend myself and they could bring up things that I said in the past, oh my God. Oh my God. Absolute. I'd be dead, y'all. I'd be like, leave flowers for me. Because they're going to dig up my old Twitter feed and they're going to be like, oh my God, this guy's got to go. Oh, he trolled so many people. So many people hurt. Oh. Also, I want to bring something up. Do you see this judge's chair? Now, that is a big dick energy chair. That fucking thing's got pillars on the side of it and crown molding at the top. Crown molding and pillars. That is a fucking chair, man. Oh my goodness. That is a chair.
Commenting about something when you haven't got a gun and threatening someone when you do.
You know, it's interesting, Your Honor, because the entire defense theory in this
It's
case
interesting,
is
Your Honor,
Joseph
because
Rosenbaum,
I've got my
who
pants
was
on way
unarmed.
too tight.
Tell me what the defense theory of the case is. I want.
May I
look,
respond to what you just said, Your Honor? I'd like to respond to what you just
Boy,
said.
that judge is getting.
I apologize, Madam
Pissed.
Court Reporter, but I'd like to try and make a record without anyone interrupting me, if that's okay.
This guy. Fucking
believe
joker.
that there is a central part of this case that Mr. Rosenbaum is making threats that he has no ability to carry out. So, to your point, Your Honor, you're arguing that this August 10th incident, one aspect of why you don't believe it's relevant is the defendant didn't have the gun with him. This case is about someone who didn't have a weapon, and yet the jury is being told because of those threats, that means the defendant has to defend him.
Wait a second. Let's be very fucking clear about what happened here. Okay? The guy Rosen, whoever that they're talking about there, the guy that got domed, right? He attacked him. You have a right to defend yourself. You have a right to defend yourself. And you listen. If you fear for your life, kill the other person. I mean, you got to really feel for your life or fear for your life. You know what I'm saying? But if it's some psychopath in the middle of a riot and he's crazy, seething, and this guy was, have you seen the videos of him? He's fucking wackadoo. He was in a mental hospital earlier that afternoon, right? Fucking guy, piece of shit, garbage. But he got popped, right? And you know, God, nobody wants anybody to die, dude. But he got popped, and he's gone. But it's because of what he did. He attacked him. Then the other guy tried to kill him with a skateboard. If you're trying to hit somebody in the head with a skateboard, you're not just trying to knock him out. Okay? If you hit somebody in the head with a skateboard and you catch them with the trucks the right way or the corner of the board, anything, you can just shatter their skull and just absolutely devastate them. Just kill them. Right? And he did. One guy tried to jump on his head and missed him, and the other guy pulled a gun out and stuck it in his face. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. Seriously. I seriously don't know anymore. I mean, what is the world coming to where a kid has to take it upon himself to do the job that men should be doing in the street? And for that, men should be embarrassed. Really. Especially the local men. The local police should be embarrassed. All right? The state police. The people who govern that state should be embarrassed. You should never let anarchy rule. I don't care what the cause is. You put it down and you put it down immediately. And just be done with it. Because if you don't, it grows and spreads. And this is what happens. Young boys have to become men and do things that they should never have to do. People die because of that. Kyle Rittenhouse did absolutely nothing wrong. And I mean that. Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong, and he shouldn't be punished. So, that's my feel on it. Anyways, that's me. I'm like, this is Conversation Zero. Oh my God. Everybody have a good night. Talk to everybody tomorrow. See ya.
Conversation Zero.